evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is January 11th, 2023, and if you would all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand for 10 seconds of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. Lauren, if you'd like to do a roll call.
Commissioner Wilson?
Present.
Commissioner Osberg?
Here.
Vice Mayor Bond?
Very here.
Mayor Kennedy?
Here. And at this time, we are going to do the swearing in of our new commissioner. His name is John Bigelow. If you'd like to come forward, John, and Lauren, our city clerk, will swear you in at this time. Yes.
You got the mic.
Mike? Mike? Is already on?
Yeah, it's should be right there and I'll stand.
Okay.
You know,
Right here.
yeah, well, yeah, that's okay, that looks good, it's kind of now our. So, you guys, your right, please raise your right hand. So repeat after me.
I state your name.
I, John Bigelow,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States,
the Constitution and the government of the United States,
of the state of Florida,
of the state of Florida,
and the city of Indian Rocks Beach,
and the city of Indian Rocks Beach,
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state
under the Constitution of the state
and of the charter of the city,
and the charter of the city,
and that I will well and faithfully perform,
that I
will
well
and
and
faithfully
faithfully perform
the duties of City Commissioner
the duties of city commissioner
of the City of Indian Rocks Beach, Florida,
of the city of Indian Rocks Beach, Florida,
on which I am now about to enter,
of which now I'm about to enter.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Sorry, can you tell how nervous I am? And I'm not even the one that's taking you off.
And Lauren, John is here tonight, just so that you're aware of that. Thank you. With that, we're going to start with our presentations. Is there a report from the Pinellas Sheriff's Department, if you'd like to come forward at this time? I don't know you, so you'll have to tell us your name.
No problem. Yes. Good evening. My name is Sergeant Joel Bowman. How are you?
Good.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I actually got the report just earlier today on December, so I can provide the information on that.
Okay.
The selected UCR property and person crimes, there were 8 reported in December. 3 of those were assaults and 5 were larceny. And those numbers are down from last month, which is great. As far as arrests, there were 10 people arrested in the city in the month of December on a total of 13 charges. 6 of those were felonies, 4 were misdemeanor, 1 warrant, and 2 traffic arrests occurred. We had 671 events within the city with 879 units responding to those events. The majority of those were, we had 204 traffic stops, 157 directed patrols, 75 house checks. There were 32 vehicles that were abandoned or illegally parked. There's 21 assisted citizens and 14 contacts. And those 6 alone made up about 75% of the events. As far as crashes, there was only 1 that occurred in the 300 block of Gulf Boulevard in December. There were 212 citations and warnings that were issued. 173 of those were the warnings, 14 traffic, 24 parking citations were issued, and 1 boating warning. And that's all I have. Is there anything I can answer or try to answer for you all?
Any questions from the commission? Nope.
No, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much, and thank you for coming tonight.
Have a great evening.
New Year. Is there a report from Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue?
Good evening. My name is District Chief Todd Best with Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue. I'm just giving you a quick little rundown of our activities this month. We ran, in the city of Indian Rocks Beach, we ran 39 medical calls. Responded ALS units to each and every one of those calls. And also, as on the fire side, we responded to 11 fire incidents that include fire structure fires, unconfirmed structure fires, and fire alarms. Administratively, we've been very busy. Right now, we're in the process of selecting a bid for Station 28 to build an EOC on the inland for beach operations during major events. We're also in negotiations, starting negotiations with the Pinellas County EMS Authority, preparing a 5-year ALSFR agreement to fund our paramedic side, our ALS side of our department. We've acquired a jet ski for Marine Rescues, which is a really big deal. We're going to store it up at Indian Shores, and we're going to have it hopefully in service early March. March 15th is our target date after we do in-service training on it, which is great because it can go up and down the beaches and be launched from the beaches. So for surf and tidal rescues, it's going to be an excellent asset that's going to be used throughout the district, north and south.
That's great.
Yeah. Right now, the Indian Rock Station has a rib. It's an inflatable rigid hull boat that we can also pull out on the beach and launch, but this will be a much easier vehicle to get in the water and get moving and underway. And it's fast, so that helps too. Our fire chief, Chief Davidson, is back in Tallahassee working with legislatures trying to get some funding assistance for the renovation of our current Station 27 as a historical building. So we're trying to work that angle a little bit up in Tallahassee. We hope everybody fared well in the storms. How did you guys do? Get any water? Everybody did okay? We did okay. In the first round of storms that came through on December 16th, we actually had to dispatch our high water rescue vehicle. We made 9 rescues of individuals from floodwaters and neighboring jurisdictions. There were no calls for rescues within Indian Rocks Beach though. That's really about it right now. I hope everybody's doing well.
Any questions for Todd?
No.
No, thank you. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. We will now move on to public comment. Any member of the audience may come forward, give their name and address, and state any comment or concern they have regarding any matter over which the City Commission has control, excluding agenda items. All statements made to the City Commission will be made to the City Commission as a whole, not directed to any individual City Commission member, and no personal and slanderous remarks shall be permitted. No speaker shall be interrupted, and no debate shall occur between the speaker and the City Commission. Is there anyone who would like to come forward at this time? You have 3 minutes. And John, we need your name and address.
John Thayer, 1819 Bay Boulevard. Happy New Year. And I'd just like to ask what happened to the electric charging stations out front. Thank you.
Just wondering that.
We go around to the city manager. We'll find out. Any other questions, comments and questions at this time?
Once again, Diane Daniel, 309 10th Avenue. Because the world needs yet another Facebook group, I've started one today. I launched it. It's called IRB Green, and it's to bring together, we have so many different groups that have to do with environmental things, and I thought it would be really great if we could maybe even meet in real life and also have a place to talk about issues. Along those lines, I've been involved in different cities, and I know this is a much smaller city, of advisory committees where you have a citizen group who meets and then advises or discusses whatever the topic is. I was on a bicycle pedestrian board in North Carolina. And I was thinking, because there are so many different groups having to do with the environment, and we have a lot of environmental issues here, it would be really great if the city would consider doing something like an advisory committee to talk about those topics. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward at this time? Hi, John.
Good evening, John Fansteel, 448 Harbor Drive South. Going to break the rules and say congratulations to John. If he's as dedicated and thorough as Lan, he will be a terrific commissioner, and I expect he will. It would also be great, in my personal opinion, for Suzanne to get elected next election, and we'd have quite a set of commissioners at that time if that happens. I want to thank the city officials, the city staff for their enforcement activities, including the magistrate, special magistrate, that shows a real intent to take the regulations seriously, and many of us applaud that. Probably know, you're probably going to hear more about that, but the Florida State Vacation Rental Bill is to be heard by only one more committee. It's, if you aren't familiar with what it is, it's going to destroy IRB's regulations, in my opinion, turn our neighborhoods into the Wild West. It gives transient lodgings unlimited occupancy because they can just declare how many people they think should fit in the building. It bars any realistic means to handle violators. They need 5 violations in a 30-day period before the city can act on registration. And when they act, that's a mess too. And the policing of the platforms doesn't even start for 2 years. So this is a disaster. The companion bill has already been written in the House, and it's as bad, and it's headed for the House committees. It's now too late for lobbying, and some of us residents want to know how many of you will be attending the committee hearings to fight for our residents and for home rule. And secondly, will you help organize voters to contact our Florida reps before it's too late? Janet, I'll break the rules again. Janet can be a wealth of information on things like that. I feel like we're at Pearl Harbor and we've been told the bombers are coming. And let's do something. So thank you for your attention. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John. Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward at this time? Hi, Nancy.
Hi. Nancy Obarski, 708 Beach Trail. In March of 2006, Indian Rocks Beach's municipal election, there were 4 candidates for mayor and 7 candidates for commissioner. That was 18 years ago. Commission meetings were packed with standing room only. Every state had somebody who cared about their local government. So how did we get from standing room only to a government full of unchallenged walk-ons and appointees? You can blame it on Form 6 if you want to, but those of us that have been around a long time know the attrition happened long before that started. The failure of this commission to even discuss holding a special election instead of appointing someone to sit there for over a year, for 14 months unelected when there was another option, is disgusting at best and appalling at the least. I assume there's no way to turn back the clock. I don't know that. I mean, since the position was, I guess, noticed, not advertised as being through March of 25, if there is an option for you to bring it up as part of this meeting tonight to discuss the possibility of a special election, where there would be 2 candidates on that election. One would be the appointee for Denise Hausberg's seat in March when she takes the seat as mayor, and the other one would be Mr. Bigelow that you appointed tonight. And thank you, sir, for stepping up. I mean this in no disrespect. Trust me. We need to elect our officials. We don't need a commission of appointees, and there is an option if you can still make that change. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward at this time?
Besides what the midgets in town. New house, 2104 Beach Trail. So a couple of years ago, our mayor pled guilty and paid a fine for a felony for taking an illegal contribution campaign. Most people don't remember that. It was later put down to a misdemeanor. The only reason I bring that up tonight is it comes back, here we go again. In November, Holiday Inn came to the City Commission asking for something to be done. Our mayor recused herself from that issue totally. I, for one, wondered whether she would, could, or should have done it, and then when she did, I wondered why. There's some vague reference in the minutes as to maybe some might look wrong, but that doesn't count. State law requires something called the Form 8B. Form 8B has to be filed 15 days after a recuse. When you recuse yourself, it has to be filled out within 15 days, and it has to be attached to the minutes. So basically, where we're at in state law, our mayor did not fill out Form 8B. Our city clerk did not attach it to the minutes, probably because it didn't exist. And then the entire city commission, well, the guy without a name tag, you get to skate tonight, okay? But the rest of y'all approved the minutes without Form 8B attached, saying why the mayor recused herself. I don't know, does she have an interest in the Holiday Inn? We don't know why, but that's why Form 8B is there. We need to know, and this is what happens when we have people that don't know what they're doing. They're just sitting there as appointees. We're going to have 60% of our city commission. And by the way, I have to apologize. I wanted to run against Denise. I can't even get 20 cars together. I must be really bad. But you know, I am remodeling 5 houses, I got a lot of stuff going. But I should be running. But anyway, so you can hold me responsible, partially responsible for not having an election for the mayor this time. Okay, and I apologize for that. Right? But we can't have a city commission that has 60% of it appointed and this stuff going on. We now have a mayor that's not being held accountable for not filling out the appropriate form because we have sock puppet sick of them city commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak at this time? Hearing none, we will call reports from the city attorney. We'll start with you. Is there anything you'd like to address tonight?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As mentioned, for those who are following along, the legislative session began on Tuesday, January 9th. It will continue through Friday, March 8th. As we do each year, my firm is monitoring the legislative session and bills of interest to the community. I've already circulated to you a brief summary of some of the legislation that is at least of interest to municipalities, though not every issue may impact this community. As stated, there are 2 bills, a House and Senate corollary relating to the regulation of short-term rentals. We summarized those at some length we summarized the Senate bill at some length in the December meeting. That's Senate Bill 280. The House corollary was filed on Monday, Tuesday being the last day to file full bills, and it was House Bill 1537, with the sponsor being Representative Griffiths, which I believe he's from Panama City Beach. So it does have a House corollary, even if they're not identical yet in every word. In order for them to ultimately pass and be approved by both chambers, they will have to find that kind of cohesion. That is actually where the process broke down in the legislative process last session, in that the House bill and Senate bill, though they did many of the same things, were not identical, and the chambers could not agree on an identical format. Other than that, we did have mediation in our short-term rental suits earlier this week. Mediation was fruitful and productive. If there are any updates to be given to you substantively on that, we will provide them as the parties continue to explore potential resolution. Obviously, Nothing can happen as it relates to your ordinance that isn't done by ordinance. It's not to suggest anything's being done that wouldn't find its way to the public. We're just not at that stage yet. Otherwise, we're off to the beginning of a new year, monitoring legislative session, looking to legislative priorities locally. I'd like to congratulate and, more importantly, thank Mr. Bigelow for volunteering and the candidates who applied to serve this community, regardless of people's sentiments concerning the reasons why we don't have as many applicants as you may have had in your community of yesteryear. The fact remains this process doesn't work unless people step up, and I want to thank each and every one of you who are here, those of you who have endeavored to apply, whether or not you're in the seat. It truly is a great reflection of this community. I can tell you there are many communities that are struggling just to get enough people for the seats they have, much less, to say nothing of unopposed processes. So thank you, Mr. Bigelow. Congratulations. Thank you to this commission as we start 2024. I look forward to working with you. We'll have no shortage of surprises, I'm sure, this year, but otherwise, nothing further to report.
Any questions for Randy? Any questions? Lane?
I got none.
Okay. City manager?
Thank you. Good evening. In addition to the information that was in the agenda packet, just had a few things to go over with you. As I mentioned earlier, at each of the upcoming city commission meetings, there'll be a different team member that'll be here. We're just trying to cross-train some folks, and on Wednesday mornings we come in and tell them what went on, and it's just good for them to see it themselves. So you'll see different people rotated in the meetings. In March of this year, we'll be issuing a request for proposals from contractors for our recycling contract. Our contract expires on December the 31st, so we're going to start the process well ahead of time at the deadline. So sometime after March, there'll be an agenda item that will show up. That'll give you the details of who put in bids, how much they are, and it'll be up to the commission to pick a contractor for the recycling. Across the street, one of the capital projects is an Omni-Spin, a little piece of ADA accessible playground equipment that's being installed. We're waiting on some other pieces that will be finished in a couple weeks. Drainage projects, as y'all recall, we updated the city's comprehensive drainage study a year and a half ago. And part of the federal money that we received, which is about $2 million, y'all authorized us to go forward with 3 projects. We're getting close to going out to bid for those 3, and the same thing will apply to those projects as is the recycling. We'll get the bid prices and bring those back to you. I can tell you from feedback we've gotten from other cities, and this will be, in your private world, won't be a shock to you, that other cities are bidding construction projects right now. The prices are coming in are extremely high. So we're going to bid 3 projects. We'll just have to see what the bid prices are, and then the commission will have to make a decision if we have enough money to do 1, 2, or 3. But those are all in the Harbor Drive area. The 14th Street reconstruction project finished today. That was right over here. It was from Pitt Boulevard to Bay Palm Boulevard. It included the complete reconstruction of curb, base, and paving. That's not something we've done now for several years. We're investing in our infrastructure. The reconstruction of the beach accesses are complete. We're finalizing our claim for the damage from the hurricane with our insurance provider, and we are going to receive money from our insurance provider for a portion of the cost. It won't cover the entire thing. We intend to file a claim for reimbursement for the additional loss with FEMA. And Dean and Dan and I have been involved in FEMA claims for a long time, and we don't know how that'll turn out, but we've been successful in the past. But later in the budget process, we'll go through and update you fully on what those numbers are. But we have gotten approval of our claim with our insurance provider, and now we're trying to work the FEMA process to see what additional coverage we can get. All the beach accesses are open. One of the things I did because of the uncertainty of the funding of FEMA at the federal level, is in the budget for the year. We had several pieces of equipment in there. There was one, Dean refers to as the dump truck. I refer to it as the flatbed trucks that we haul material on, that was in the budget for $78,000. I put that on hold for the time being until we see how the FEMA thing, try to make up some of the difference in the loss due to the hurricane that we had. Bad news, good news, bad news is, I sent this to you this afternoon. We already received word this afternoon from the county emergency management folks that we can expect some storms tomorrow and into Saturday. So just like this past storm, you know, we're prepared for that. One of the questions I had, and I just want to address it, is that when the storm that came in the first of the week, you know, the day before, or actually a day and a half before the storm came in, they put out a coastal flood warning that started at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning and ran all the way into Wednesday. When that happens, any of our facilities that are gated, we're going to close them up, because, you know, if there's a reason why they put coastal flood warnings out, is that means it can flood. So Tuesday morning, we closed everything, anything that was gated, like the nature reserve, we closed it. And that's a preventative measure to protect our employees and the public. So we probably won't close things up tomorrow, but if you're asked about that, whenever we get a flood warning or when it's hurricane season, we get a tropical storm, we're gonna lock up and secure as many park facilities as we can, just to keep people out. Because I don't know if you figured this out, people don't really sometimes care about that, and we care about that, so that's why we do it. As far as the electric charging stations, that was a pilot program through Duke Energy that was for 3 years. That contract was up. If we would have kept the charging stations, we would have been fully responsibility for maintaining them, and the liability and the cost of maintaining them. I know other big city our size, small city our size, are in the business of providing charging stations. And I will tell you that one of the things that's changed, just, you know, technology changes so fast. One of the things that had changed from the time that we entered into the pilot program period to 3 years was that the charging ability of automobiles has completely changed. For example, my daughter and her husband, one of the vehicles they have is a Tesla. When they come down from Jacksonville Beach, and this was not like this 3 years ago, they have a Tesla charging cord, which, you know, if they get lucky and they find one of those, you can charge a Tesla up pretty quick. And they have a secondary cord, and you literally can plug that cord into a dryer plug to charge your car up. So for those reasons, it was meant to be a pilot program. It was not meant to be a permanent thing. And for a city our size, we have no business to be in that business. And two, you know, you probably have heard, if you don't have a Tesla, you probably have heard how much Teslas are. We don't need to have the liability of a faulty charging station where we fry somebody's $100,000 car. So that's why we didn't pursue anything permanently on that. But I'll be happy to answer any questions about it or anything else.
Any questions for the city manager? No?
I'd love to get some more details on the electrical thing later, just, you know, for backup information in terms of the cost and all of that. Because it was, did we have 2 slots there, 2 spaces there, or just one?
No, we had a total of 3. We had 2 at City Hall, and we had one across the street from the library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did we have a cost, did we bear a cost for that, and if so, what was it?
No, that was part of the pilot program, is Duke was on the hook for the installation, the repair if it broke, the liability of the equipment. And we received a small percentage of the profit or the money that came out of it. But it was very limited. But I'll be happy to share more detailed information with the whole commission, but just the liability of us being in that business did not warrant us to continue that.
Do you think that folding an electric vehicle charging station into a larger parking solution might still have a place?
I'd be happy to talk with you more about that a little later. But,
Anyone else for Greg? Nope. We'll go with the city commission, and we'll start with our new commissioner, Commissioner Bigelow. Congratulations, and is there anything that you would like to talk about tonight?
No, I would just like to thank the other city commissioners for your support and the mayor. It's a new career for me and completely different than what I was doing before. I'm looking forward to the challenges and everything that comes with it. So I thank all of you. I'll work as hard as I can for the citizens of Indian Rocks Beach and help this town grow. So.
We'll use your microphone. There you go.
But I want to thank all of you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Commissioner Jan.
Welcome, John. And secondly, one of the things I said when I came on the commission in November was that I had some experience with policy and citizen-led committees to get changes made. And so I just gave John a homework assignment tonight that utilizes some of that information. And so hopefully we can get some things going.
Great. Commissioner Hosper?
Well, Dan Carpenter and I have been working on a website, how many months now, Dan?
countless.
Countless months. We now have all of the content uploaded into their platform, so, and thanks to the help of Diane Daniels, she's helped us actually put words together that make sense. So we've got some really good content, we've got some better pictures, it's gonna be really nice when it comes together.
Vice Mayor Jude, any comments?
I'm just thrilled to be here. Welcome.
Thanks, Jude. Thank you.
Welcome, John. Happy that you're on with us.
Thank you.
I'm looking now, are there any additions or deletions for tonight? Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
That's fast.
And I'm looking for Randy, would you please read the consent agenda?
Happily, Madam Mayor, there are 3 items on the consent agenda. Item A, approval of the December 1, 2023 closed executive session minutes. Item B, approval of the December 12, 2023 City Commission meeting minutes. Item C, appointing Philip Hanna to the Finance, Budget, and Review Committee as a regular board member for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2026. These are the 3 items A through C on the consent agenda, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, and I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We will move on. We do not have any public hearings tonight. There is no other legislative matters, no work session. There is no other business to come before this board. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
I would
adjourn.
like to, when did board positions become 3 years instead of 2?
I would have to pull Randy more. I would probably have to pull up, each committee has different requirements for appointments, and I believe the finance and budget committee is third.
Cool. I've never heard of that. That's great.
Yes,
Thank you.
they're all different.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you all for coming.
I just hate to see this end.